32-14 run with free football selections, college and pro combined, over the past 2 months. And I'm going to take a look at a number of games today, including Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Green Bay and Chicago. Last night, I personally had a 15-dime play, which is right there at the top of my rating scale, on Louisville, hammering Miami of Florida. Couldn't ask for an easier win than that one. But, I'm watching the game last night on TV, and I'm thinking to myself, if not for that devastating second half, and really just an awful fourth quarter and that collapse in that Friday night game a couple of months ago at home against Central Florida, Louisville would have been undefeated and playing in one of the big BCS bowls here coming up. But instead, relegated to that minor league game last night, but they just kicked Miami of Florida's ass. Another impressive performance by Teddy Bridgewater, the probable number one pick in the NFL draft next year if he leaves school. But more importantly, Charlie Strong. Did not that make him even more attractive as the best possible coaching candidate out there to be poached from another school? I'm thinking, the University of Texas looking to replace Mack Brown. If Bill O'Brien leaves Penn State and goes to the NFL and isn't interested in making the jump from Happy Valley to Austin, hell, how can you not back up the Brinks truck to Louisville and tell Charlie to come on down? Young guy, good recruiter, build strong defenses. True, it helped that he got Teddy Bridgewater, who I think decommitted from Miami of Florida a couple years ago when Al Golden came in, and there was all the possibility of NCAA rules violations and stuff like that. And I think that's how he ended up at Louisville, in fact. But still, impressive performance by Louisville last night. Listen, guys, I start almost every video report talking about Shawn Michaels, and why not do it once more again today? Because he also cashed with a 100-dime play last night on Louisville, which was on the heels of his 100-dime College Bowl winner for Washington over BYU on Friday night, as he improved to 12-2 this year. 12-2 on the season with 100-dime college football side selections. More importantly, today going for winning day number 75 out of 110. Over the past 7 months, he's had 110 plays, guys, 111 plays, 74 wins, 35 losses, and 2 pushes. And $10 bettors in that 7-month stretch have made over $25,000. And that's net. That's wins minus losses minus the VIG, and they've made over $25,000 net today. 109 double-digit destroyer of the year. It kicks off at 1 o'clock Eastern time. He's on a 43-20 roll with 100-dime NFL releases the past 4+ seasons. And, of course, this is twice or just as strong as the 100-dime winners you got in College Bowl action the past 2 nights on Louisville and Washington, and of which he's 12-2 this season. He's gone 36-17 the past 7 months with 50-dime plays. And this play is twice as strong as that one. Also, Brad Wilton cashed in with a big 150-dime college football winner, number 4 out of 5 last night with the Cardinals. Today, he comes right back with a play that matches his biggest ever in the NFL. 150-dime winner number 3 out of 4. It's the Green Bay-Chicago game, which, of course, remember, is time shifted to go at 4:25 Eastern time, just as big as his winner on Louisville last night. $10 bettors have won a little over $8,500 following Brad's betting advice since July. You can save $23 off the purchase of any particular thing here at the site. Pick, package, it doesn't matter. It's your choice by using this one-time coupon code 23OFF. 23 off, 230FF. FYI, Scott Delaney, 100-dime NFL winner number 9 out of 11. His NFL total of the year, Seattle St. Louis. Save $80 by using coupon code SCOTT80, SCOTT80. $10 bettors have won a little over $5,200 following his betting advice over the past 7 weeks. And also Chris Jordan, who in NFL regular season action, dating back to 2007, has made $1 bettors following his advice in the NFL regular season over $13,700. His Sunday night total of the year, Cowboys and Eagles tonight, save $70 by using coupon code Chris70, Chris70. So let's see. Is there anything else I want to tell you? Craig Davis, another winning day. Going for winning day number 21 out of 29 and 8 out of 10. 100-dime AFC teaser of the year. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Denver, Oakland. Hit a 100-dime teaser winner last Sunday with the Bengals and Steelers, and $10 bettors have not only won $4,400 the past 28 days, nice 4-week run, but in the NFL alone, Craig, the former president of FantasyFootballLeague.com, has made $10 bettors over $10,000 dating back, to the 2011 season. I tell you the good, I got to tell you the bad. Anthony Redd, after a couple of big winning days, lost with a 100-dime play on Miami of Florida last night. Trace Adams lost his W wager game of the year last night, going down in flames too, as Cincinnati got hammered by North Carolina in the Belk Bowl. So let's talk about some of your games today. And of course, today the key is knowing and being aware of which teams have something to play for and which teams don't, and realizing when a team kicks off, their game kicks off, they may or may not already have their playoff fate sealed. First game I want to take a look at is going to be the Pittsburgh-Cleveland game. The Steelers have a very remote chance of still making the playoffs, and they'll forever rue the fact that they blew a couple easily winnable games earlier this season, but the fact is they have been playing well here of late. The offense is finally rounded into form. They've scored 27 or more points in 5 of their last 6 games. They're coming off a 38-31 win in Green Bay. That was even easier than the final score indicated, and then, of course, a couple weeks ago, it was 30-20 at home against Cincinnati in their last home game. They beat Cleveland back on November 24th, knocking Jason Campbell out of the game early with a concussion, 27-11. The Browns, because of all the injuries, quarterback woes, etc., they have lost 6 in a row, 9 of their last 10. Their defense has given up 41, 27, 32, 27, 30, 38, and 24 points in their past 6 games, all of which have been losses. You can't get the Browns defense off the field. Opponents are converting on nearly 44% of their third down plays. That is the worst percentage in terms of third down conversion defense in the AFC this season. In the red zone, they're just as bad, because Cleveland's opponents are converting nearly 65% of their red zone opportunities into touchdown passes or touchdowns. That is the second worst defensive percentage in the AFC. I like the fact that the Steelers got 152 yards rushing on the ground last week at Green Bay. I would go ahead and lay the 7. Of course, when the number crosses 3, 4, 7, and sometimes 10, I always encourage you to buy the half point up or down accordingly. I would buy the half point down on Pittsburgh. I also think that you could put Pittsburgh in a teaser with Cincinnati in the next game I'm talking about, because you've got the Bengals and the Steelers both at home with minimal motivation, but still both at home in virtual pick'em games. Listen, Cincinnati lost at Baltimore 20-17 back in overtime on November 10th. That game wasn't nearly as close as the final score indicated there, though, however, because, Baltimore jumped out to the 17-0 lead, took the miracle catch in the end zone for Cincinnati to win the game. Questionable 4th down going for it called by Marvin Lewis in overtime, cost them field position, and ultimately allowed Baltimore to escape with the win. I just don't think the Ravens have anything for them here today. Listen, they're falling into the typical rut of defending Super Bowl champions, barely making the postseason the following year. You know how miserable they looked last week when they got crushed at home by the Patriots 41-7. All aspects of their game collapsed against New England, but what was particularly worrisome is the fact that Joe Flacco, who has not enjoyed a tremendous season, who is playing behind a lousy offensive line, was playing with a knee brace, and he absolutely was pathetic last week. And with the fact that Ray Rice is over the hill and Bernard Pierce hasn't really contributed much to the ground game, I think Baltimore has a tough time contending in this game. Now, true, Cincinnati's already wrapped up the AFC South, so the AFC North, yes. So there's really not a lot of motivation for the Bengals here, but there is a possibility, that they may want to go 8-0 at home this season, and they've been a dominant team at home as well. I think that the Bengals defense will get after Flacco here. They've sacked him 46 times, or he's been sacked 46 times already this season. The problem in the first go-round for Cincinnati, it was 6 defensive penalties, 112 yards, penalties in that one, and those 6 defensive penalties all turned into first downs for Baltimore in that contest. And what better motivation for the Bengals than to want to knock the defending Super Bowl champions out of the playoffs in here and avenge that previous loss. Again, you have to wonder about the motivation. So I do like Cincinnati, but I would offer you this. I think the better way to play this is go ahead and take Cincinnati and Cincinnati and Pittsburgh in the 2-team teaser, 6-point teaser. You're taking both of the home favorites down to practically a half point or 1 point in those 2 games. I want to talk about the San Diego game against Kansas City. You know, as a longtime Eagles fan, I have watched closely and from afar as Andy Reid repeatedly has been very consistent in the fact meaningless games, he just doesn't give a damn. So this is a meaningless game for the Chiefs today. Forget about the fact that they were dominated and embarrassed last week at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Forget about the fact that Philip Rivers tore up that Kansas City defense in a 41-38 road win, an upset of KC at Arrowhead about a month ago. Forget about all that. Focus on this. Reid, consistently in the preseason, consistently in late regular season games, if they're meaningless, your starters for Andy Reid will get maybe a taste of action or none at all. You know, I always laugh internally when I see these coaches end of the preseason, end of the regular season, trying to rest their key players to avoid injuries. It's like, what? Do you have an inside pipeline to God because you know that these players, if you sit them now, it's going to guarantee they aren't going to be hurt in the very first play they play in the next game? I mean, especially in the preseason. I've never understood the whole philosophy. Hey, we're going to rest all our starters the majority of the preseason. Oh, okay, so they don't get hurt in the preseason, but they've got a 50-50 chance of getting hurt in the preseason, just like on the very first play of the regular season. It's like, what, did God come down and speak to you guys, you coaches, and say, hey, don't play them today, they're going to get hurt? It doesn't work that way. Now, obviously, end of the regular season, a grueling, long regular season, I can understand the value of rest here, and that's what I'm counting on for Kansas City today at San Diego. Meanwhile, the Chargers are playing some good ball. They have a very, very slim chance of making the playoffs, but to finish at 500, I think that's a big thing. In their first year under the new regime, they've scored 37, 27, and 26 points the past 3 weeks in wins against the Giants, Broncos, and Raiders. They beat Kansas City 41-38 in the first go-round, November 24th. Rivers 392 yards passing in the first game, and they're getting some outstanding ground contributions from Ryan Matthews as well. You know, Chase Daniel is probably going to be the Kansas City quarterback for most of that game today. Do you really want to put your money on Chase Daniel? Do I have to say anything more? So I would go with San Diego in this one. Listen, the Chiefs are already locked into the number 5 wild card spot, so this is a meaningless game for them. Final game, Green Bay and Chicago. Poetic justice, irony, whatever you want to call it. Aaron Rodgers hurt in the first series in that Monday night game against the Bears, which precipitated the Packers' long decline. He comes back after a 7-game absence today. Packers win this game. Bears win this game. The winner gets the playoff berth and first place in the division. That's what's at stake. How can I not go with the Packers today? I know Eddie Lacy is bothered by the sprained ankle, but this guy has just been a moose all season long, and they've still got James Starks as well. And that's going to be the key to this game, not necessarily Aaron Rodgers, but it's going to be the ability of the Packers to run wild against a Chicago defense that plays that Matador D. You know, here, hey, take a free pass. Let you just go right by any running back. Any one of you guys out there, you could probably gain 100 yards on the Chicago rushing defense. I mean, you saw last week the egg they laid in Philadelphia, getting hammered 54-11, and that game was worse than the final score actually indicated. I mean, Philadelphia gained 289 yards rushing against that Bears defense. All it did was pad the statistically worst NFL rushing defense in the league, a unit that's giving up 161 yards on the ground. Bears don't get any pass rush either. Randall Cobb he's been activated. He's practiced somewhat the past couple of weeks. He may return as well for the Packers today, giving Rodgers another weapon. I just think the Packers, you know, they've got their leader. They've got their main man coming back today. Think Willis Reed dragging that injured leg into the starting lineup of the Knicks. Think of the Jets, how Namath would come off the bench, how they'd respond. I mean, you know, there's some things that are just bigger than the statistics and trends. And I think this one, the emotional swell that you're going to have for the Packers today when they see their leader out there, I got to go with them. And again, even though neither one of these teams play any defense, they both suck defensively, I like the Packers in this game. So it's the Packers, the Steelers, Bengals teaser, Chargers. Those are your free picks. Best of luck to you all. We've got a lot of college bowl action coming up this week, so don't miss it. I'll catch you again on Monday morning.